So, Chip White, welcome to the little podcast that could. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
excited about it. A little nervous, but excited.
Oh, you'll
You're
be fine.
nervous. How come?
We
Yeah.
won't be.
I don't know. I'm like, I don't even know what to expect. I'm like, sure. I love music.
We're gonna
I don't know
ask
what you
you
guys
all
do, but
the we're gonna ask you all the tough questions today, Chip. So, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. First question. Obviously, you are Vanna White's brother. How tired do you get getting asked questions about Vanna White?
It's funny. Mm, If she wasn't such a sweetheart, I'd probably be super annoyed. But she's just so generous and down to earth and loving. And kind of, what you see is what you get. And I mean, obviously, I have a podcast where it's based on the fact that I'm Vanna's brother. So, I mean, how can I get too upset about it when I'm kind of promoting it?
Yeah, true enough. And that's,
Yeah, for
I
sure.
was going to lead with as kids, growing up and stuff and the pranks, who was the biggest prankster? Is there a troublemaker between the two of you?
Probably me, for sure. She's got a good sense of humor. I think I probably was more the troublemaker, just because I was the youngest, I was the boy, and you know, probably the most spoiled. So, um,
Well, at least
I
you
was
can
the
admit
whiner.
that,
Oh, well,
Chip, that you were the most spoiled.
yeah, I think so. I mean, I don't know if spoiled is the right word. I mean, we were, we kind of grew up in that era where, you know, it's sun's up, it's Saturday, get out of the house and we'll see you when the sun goes down
Right.
life, at the beach. So in the summer, man, we were just at the beach, surfing, swimming, whatever, bicycling. And it was never home. Of course, she was a little older, so we didn't spend a lot of time in the summer doing stuff together. But and during school year and stuff, we were definitely spent more time
Where did you guys
as a
grow
family.
up?
So we grew up in North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
Oh, nice.
Um, and when we were growing up, there used to be Can-Am days, Canadian days. They had like a week or 2 weeks worth of a, kind of a holiday period where the Canadians would come down just before summer, where for us the water was still cold and it was still winter, and they're like, "This is awesome!" They're out there swimming in the ocean.
Nice.
Yeah, well, when you grow up in minus 30 degrees Celsius weather, anything is warm. So,
Yeah, yeah.
Chip, I read an article that says that you grew up in, and they said Vanna's shadow. Do you feel that that's the case?
I think it's to a point, and I don't know if you guys have older brothers or sisters or younger brothers and sisters, but if you're the younger and you have a sibling who does well in school, who the teachers like, you're always coming up. It's, oh, you're so and so's brother. And of course, when your grades aren't as good and you're a little more of a troublemaker, you, you kind of, I guess you're kind of always in the shadow of a sibling that does or is older than you and tends to
That
do
could be
better, I
a good
guess.
thing and a bad thing, I suppose, right?
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm sure if it was the other way around and I was older and she was in my shadow, she'd be going, "Oh my God, man, this this is not a happy shadow."
But you've had a lot of success of your own, though, Chip. Like when I was reading your bio, it's super impressive. You've done a lot of things and you've been super involved in film, music, television. Can you tell us a bit about that part of your career?
Sure. I started as a DJ in North Myrtle Beach back in the disco era, the late '70s, early '80s. Vanna had moved to LA, and then our mom got really sick and passed away. And I think then a couple of years later, like in '82, I moved out to LA for a couple of years. Vanna's career hadn't really taken off yet. She hadn't gotten wheel. I was working for her manager, and uh, and then it got to the point like, if I'm going to starve, I could starve back home. So she had just gotten wheel, and I moved back home. Started DJing again and bartending in different nightclubs, and I think it's probably 1986. John got killed in the plane crash, and so I moved out to LA to work for her and kind of get in the business. And I'd be honest, I wasn't in the great physical and mental position to be working for anybody. I was knee deep in the drugs and alcohol, and my career was not going anywhere. And probably after I did some film work, I worked for King World and different people out there, and then and MTV and VH1, and then I got sober and started doing reality shows, and then eventually moved to North Carolina. That's when I got back into actually working with more in film and television instead of just TV. And now I do a podcast, do a little bit of the film stuff on the side, not as much. Kind of after moving out to Texas, it just I kind of hit a plateau. Like everybody wants me to help them raise money. I'm like, dude, I'm burnt on raising money.
Damn it! I was gonna ask
Give me
you
a
if you could
product.
help us raise some money for this podcast, but I guess we won't ask that then.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I can give you some suggestions,
yeah,
but I
exactly.
Yeah.
can't.
Chip, let me ask you this:
We'll take what we can get, Chip.
once Vanna did get Wheel of Fortune, like, did you ever go to any of the Hollywood functions? Like, is there anything that's memorable from that world?
Oh, yeah. I mean, even, prior to her getting that, and she was just starting out, we got to do some really cool stuff. Christopher George from Rat Patrol was our uncle,
Oh,
and he took me out one night to Pips, which was a big disco backgammon club in Beverly Hills, and this was even before Vanna got Wheel, and I've got to do so much cool stuff because of her. New Year's Eve at Alana Stewart, Rod Stewart's ex-wife's house, and there's Gene Kelly and Ryan O'Neal, and I mean so many other people, and I have gotten it's cool because I've been on the edge of some really cool stuff. I've never crossed that, I guess, that financial gap. But I've hung out with Mel Gibson. I've hung out with Jack Nicholson. I mean, it's been phenomenal. I've gotten to do some really cool stuff because of that,
hmm.
Sounds
and
like
done some good
almost a
traveling.
little bit sorry, it sounds like almost a little bit of the best of both worlds because you get to kind of experience the Hollywood life, but you don't actually have to be a celebrity.
Yeah, it has been. It's. I mean, I have so many things. Sometimes I just forget some of the things that I've done. Part of it was because at the time when I was doing some of them, I wasn't focused, as you say.
Right.
Um, and others has just been just phenomenal. And again, she's been so generous. It's like opportunities. Like the last 2 years, I've gotten to play with her in the Myrtle Beach Myrtle Beach Classic PGA golf tournament for
Oh, fun.
the Pro Am days. You know, I played in a ton of celebrity golf. I mean, charity and celebrity golf tournaments. But to play what they say inside the ropes, even if it's not like the actual PGA day, but you're playing inside the ropes, that's pretty
That's
cool.
insane, dude.
Yeah, I bet.
How is your golf game?
Oh, I'm horrible,
You got
man.
a pretty good kick shot or what?
Literally,
Little kick in?
oh man, the last 2 years I've played in it, and it sounds horrible, but literally about 2 days before I go to the driving range, and then the day of I hit a few at the driving range, and then I go play 18, and then it's another year before I do the same thing. So that should tell you where my balls are going when I'm hitting.
Right. Yeah, fair enough.
But as I say, I'm playing inside the ropes, man. There are guys that shoot 52 on 9 and are let 48 or whatever, and they're not playing inside the ropes. So
Yeah,
I get to experience that.
crazy. I shoot 52 off of like 9 holes.
Yeah, me too. Actually, I think probably about a 62 on 9.
I think I'm at a 52 on 1, but
Yeah, you'll get there.
who's counting?
Did you guys have any
Yeah,
nicknames
no problem.
growing up as kids for each other?
Uh, I don't think
No?
so. Not that I can think
Just
of.
Jackass?
I mean, it's kind of weird. It's kind of weird when your name is already Vanna and it's already Chip. I mean,
Right.
Fair enough.
Were you
I mean,
named
Chip is my
after
nickname.
people within the family, or was it just parents named you that?
So Vanna was named. There was a neighbor my mom grew up with, and he had a daughter or granddaughter named Vanna, Vana, and Mama liked the name, but she said I'm going to put another N in it to make it
Mm.
different. So that's where Vanna came from. And Chip is Chip off the old block, and this right here was my father. I'm Herbert Stackley White the third.
Okay.
So, but it's been Chip all my life because it's Chip off the old
Yeah.
block.
So, Chip, you have your own podcast. It's called Relatively Famous, right? Can you tell us a bit
Correct.
about it?
Sure. So, relatively famous. I interview relatives of famous people. Could be brothers, sisters, moms, dads, cousins, uncles. And famous person doesn't necessarily mean a household name. I mean, because there are a lot of niches where someone's extremely famous in that niche, but they're not an everyday name. And then again, there are some everyday names. I mean, I've had Johnny Cash's daughter, Clint Eastwood's daughter,
Mm.
Morgan Freeman's son, Elvira's niece. I mean, so there are people that are everyday names, but there's also some. Um, we had Lorena Monroe. Her husband is David Monroe. Now, David, unless you're a super geek, you're not even going to know. It's not going to ring a bell. But he's an inventor who holds the patent for inventing the cell phone camera. So
Oh,
every
that's
day,
interesting.
yeah, we use it every day,
You could
right?
thank him for the selfie.
Yeah.
Thanks, bud.
Yeah.
How do you decide on
And
who
then
you have as guests on your podcast?
whoever says yes.
Nice.
Yeah, I did a lot of research. I started out with people that I know. I asked them if they know someone. It's crazy. I'll be scrolling, and all of a sudden, like, we're getting ready to do next week or this week. It's Monday. We're going to do Don Knotts' daughter,
Mm.
Curly from the Three Stooges, his grandson, and Dolly Parton's sister Frida.
Oh, nice.
Um,
Nice.
which is exciting because Vanna's a huge fan of Dolly's. Who doesn't love Dolly? But
Yeah.
it's, I've scrolled and all of a sudden I come across someone's name. I'll reach out on social media. Maybe they'll respond. Maybe they won't. I'd probably get a 2% response on the reach outs.
Mm.
Oh,
Um,
really?
yeah, it's country music relatives probably respond more than actors in rock and roll and different genres for some television. I don't know if
That's
it's
interesting.
because, country music is so related. Country music stars really relate to their fans, I think, a lot more than, I don't know, rock stars or, but yeah,
Yeah, I can
I get
see that.
a lot of country music children. Like I said, Johnny Cash's daughter. I've had Hoyt Axton's son, uh, the Wilson Fairchild, who is part of the Statler brothers' children, and we're getting ready to have their kids on, which would be the grandkids of the Statler brothers. And like I said, Dolly Parton's sister's coming on. So I've had
Nice.
some Billy Vera's son. He's not really country, but he's had this amazing career. I don't know if you're familiar with Billy Vera, but
To do country radio up in northern BC, and it seemed like they were just nicer people. Like the listeners actually cared. Hey Todd, can you come this weekend to our barbecue? Whereas I did rock radio here in Vancouver for 15 years, and they would call and like ream you and tell you how much you sucked and everything. Like the difference of rock
yeah,
country, and it's interesting that you say that the correlation of booking a guest, it almost feels the same as an on-air personality.
probably very close. I mean, obviously it isn't. And not saying that every country kid has responded. Some have said no. I did find it interesting. I asked a couple of children of country legends. I'm not going to say they are because I don't want to make them mad. But they're like, no, we're trying to stay away from our family name. I'm like, dude, you use the exact same name practically. You use the last name on your website. You flat out say who your dad is,
Mhm.
you know, but
Hmm.
whatever, I, I,
Yeah. You win some, you lose some.
yeah, it's okay. And
Yeah.
you were getting ready to ask a question a second ago.
Oh, yeah. I was going to ask you who would be your ultimate pick to have on your show in terms of relatively famous people?
Ah, man, yeah, that's good. And I used to. I'm trying to think. The other day, I had a really good one in my head. I really wanted, and I forgot who it was. I'm looking. I'd love to get some F1 drivers,
Mhm.
relatives, some international soccer players or football players.
Yep.
I've always wanted to have Clint Howard, just because I think he's hilarious, and um, and I like his story. Josh Brolin was on my list for a long time. He's kind of everywhere, but I still would like to have him on. I think you would
Right.
get the humor of it.
Are you a country music fan, Chip?
I am. I actually DJ'd in a country western bar, which was probably one of my favorite jobs at the time. I was DJing, and then I would MC the short wet t-shirt and bikini contest, and um, I
I bet that
wasn't.
was
I wouldn't
tough.
say
Takes one for the
it was
team,
hard,
right
man.
there,
It was
Chip. That's
difficult.
big for the
Yeah,
team. Yeah.
you know.
It's the
And that's
Lord's
the funny
work.
thing is, yeah. The funny thing is, like, you think you're when you're trying to be funny and you're trying, it's not even stand up, but you're trying to engage an audience. And when the jokes are hitting and everything's on fire, man, you're like, man, this is awesome. I love this. I think I'm going to be a stand up comedian. And then when everything is crickets, you're like breaking a sweat and going.
Yeah.
Probably just like
But
being a stand-up comedian. I'm sure they don't like the quiet
it was, matter of fact, I
side.
chickened out. I was going to do it and chickened out when I got back out to LA, and I was like, yeah, this is scary and too much work.
Oh, I bet.
I'm not as funny as I think I am.
Right.
I bet the rejection is wild too in terms of everything about that industry seems really
Oh,
stressful.
yeah. I wish I had the nerve to. Who knows? Maybe one day I'll step back up and do it. But
Never say never.
yeah. Every time I say never, it happens. So what I meant to say is I'm never going to live in Costa Rica and just surf all the time.
Totally right.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Chip, I'm curious with the guests that you've had on your podcast, do you find that the success of their siblings or mom, dad, whatever the tie happens to be, do you find that that they talk about their relationship changing, or does it bring them closer?
I think it depends on, like, a parent. When I interview parents, it's obviously usually there's a little difference, right? As a brother or sister, 90% of the time you have no bearing on your sibling's career
Yeah.
unless you become their manager or something, right? I mean, you're just there. As a parent, you've had to make a conscious decision as that child grew up and decided what direction they wanted to go into. Do they want to follow you in the film and TV and music business, or do they want to do something else? Or you're not even in that business and that's what they want to do. You've made this conscious decision of how to guide them and be there for them, and hopefully release them into that world ready for it. Cousins, again, sometimes their relationship changes, sometimes it gets a little stronger. I think it's probably different. I mean, Vanna's and I's have, she's always been sweet and generous. I mean, I've kept every letter and birthday card she's ever sent, and she's obviously been more caring and generous and loving than I've been.
Mm.
There's a, a birthday card or something, a letter when she was in college, write me back, you little shit. I mean, pardon my language, but it's,
Yeah.
it's like, guess I wasn't very responsive.
Yeah.
What's your relationship with Vanna like now? Are you guys close?
Yeah, we talk probably every 2 or 3 days at the most. We meet back home in South Carolina. We're going to be going back in October for a visit. I'll go to LA 1 or 2 times a year. She'll come to Texas usually once, depending on depending on her travel schedule. And we're definitely close. Like I said, she's still super generous and nice, and she loves the podcast. She's done promos for us. She's not embarrassed by it.
Mhm.
So.
So were you guys just like a big board family or something? Like, or was it just a matter like she went to Hollywood to make it, and it just so happened to be Wheel of Fortune? Like, could have we maybe seen her as an actress, or what?
Yeah, well, she moved to LA to be an actress. She was in a couple of movies with, like, Graduation Day with Uncle Chris. She had a small part. Looker, she had a small part in that. She was kind of doing some acting stuff. She starred in this movie. A guy out of, I think, Kansas wrote it and paid for it, and it had a decent B-level actors in it, and she starred in it, and it's out there. But that was what she wanted to do, and when she got Wheel of Fortune, it was just a daytime show. She assumed, oh, you know what, I'll do this. It'll it's paying my bills. It's $1,500 a week. Wow, it's back then it was not bad money.
Even
Yeah.
right now,
And
pretty good
she
money
just
for you
assumed it
now.
would. Yeah, it is. Yeah, and she assumed it would last a little while, and she would go back to acting. And as it took off, she still did some acting at that during that period, and um, but Will just became so successful and has lasted so
Yeah.
long. I think she
Yeah.
kind of put the acting on the background.
Do you remember the first time you saw the Wheel of Fortune and how proud and stuff you were of her?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I honestly don't, other than the reruns you see, I don't remember the first episode with her on it. I'm sure I watched it. I just trying to remember some of those things. It's like
A few years ago.
it's almost like being outer body. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And that was that wheel has been. When did that start? It's got to be early '80s, late '70s.
Yeah. Well, Wheel started in the '70s. It was a daytime show with Chuck Woolery and Susan Stafford. Um, Chuck quit, and then Pat got the job, and then Pat and Susan, I think, did it for almost a year, and then Susan decided she
Right.
wanted to leave and go do something else, and that's when they did the audition, and Van ended up getting the job, and that would have been in the early '80s. I want to
Mhm.
say '82 or '83, somewhere in there. I can't remember.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
then King World picked it up to syndicate it, and then when the syndication version really exploded, that's when it
Right.
became a household name. She became a household name.
Thanks for joining us today, Chip. It was really great to chat with you. Can you tell
Sure.
us where people can go to see your podcast and to see anything else you've got on the go?
Yeah. Relatively famous. .net is our website. All of our episodes live there, but you can also find us on YouTube. Pretty much every podcast platform, Spotify, Amazon, Apple, any of those. Usually, relatively famous with Chip White. You just type that in, it'll come up.
Perfect.
We have Facebook page and a Instagram page. um,
Okay.
love love for you to. What is it they say? Like, subscribe,
Yeah.
share, leave review, leave a comment.
Something like that. Everything that you can possibly do, please do.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you.
Enjoy the day, Chip.